What the heck is going on, everybody? Lunchtime here, bringing you the best settings for Vanguard. I know this video is long overdue, but I figured with league play or ranked play coming up shortly, I'd release these. What I've done is a little bit of homework watching settings videos of people like KOD, people like Scump, people like Envoy that have uploaded theirs. And I've kind of taken and chosen the best parts that I like about each one. My settings won't be perfect for your build, and you might have to change a couple here and there. Look around, see what you like, what you don't like, and we'll go from there. That being said, I don't play on keyboard and mouse. I play on controller, so these settings will pretty much be useless for anybody out there that is playing keyboard and mouse. We're gonna swap right over to graphics. So under display, if I were a better person, I would have this on full screen. However, since I stream and record from the same PC, I put it on full screen borderless so I can easier go back and forth between the windows. If you have a less powerful PC or you need to conserve your frames, you need to put this on full screen. That will be the best bang for your buck in terms of making sure that your settings are okay and that your frames are as good as possible. For the sake of me and being able to go back and forth between stream, between OBS, between, Twitter, game battles, whatever, I put it on full screen borderless. Make sure your display resolution matches whatever your monitor is set at. I have an Asus one, it says 144, but I only get 120 maximum. So same thing with the monitor and the I guess my monitor is the VG248, but the refresh rate is at 120, which is the most that this monitor is getting for whatever reason. Just find whatever your monitor is getting, match it with that, and go from there. I like to turn VSync off both in the gameplay and in the menus. The frame rate limit, match this as well to the refresh rate that you're getting up here. So mine is 120. And then when it's minimized, I lower it to 60 and to 30. Now for the aspect ratio, I have this on automatic. Brightness, you're going to want to match whatever your monitor looks like. Mine happens to be 64, and I believe my monitor's brightness is either close to 100 or near 100. So hopefully that helps you guys. Display gamma, we are going down to 2.2 with focus mode off. The display adapter, I have my graphics card. Now this is an important one that if you guys haven't messed with, you need to. Now this will stop the packet burst from happening as frequently. On-demand texture streaming, click into this and turn this off. This is a huge setting that you will thank yourself for later if you guys have not turned it off already. I hope that you have, but if you have not, it'll make the packet burst happen less often. Turn that off. Now we are going into quality. So this is the real nitty gritty, the real in-depth stuff that we're going to be talking about. I have the quality preset on custom. Render resolution is on 100. Now I don't know much about bumping this up. I do know you don't want to bump this down. Keep it on 100 at the very least. Dynamic resolution, I have this on off. Texture resolution. Now here in the details and textures category, this is where I saw a lot of highs, a lot of lows, a lot of differences between the different people that I have watched the video. So this is what I've compiled as the best settings for now. Texture resolution, we have this on very low. If you look at the bottom, this one has the most impact, or some of the most impact on the RAM usage. So keep this on very low. It doesn't change too much about how the game actually looks. If you're playing campaign or something and you want to see every last little detail, you can bump this up on high, turn everything to ultra, whatever. But for multiplayer, for best frames, for competitiveness, keep this on very low. Texture filter, anisotropic, whatever that means, is on high. Particle quality level, this one's very important as well. You want this on high. When you're shooting something like the STG, like the automaton sometimes, when the smoke gets all in your screen, you guys know what I'm talking about if you've played this game. Turning this on high makes that happen less often or less severe. Now particle resolution we have on high as well. Same with bullet impact and sprays as on. So we can look at spray patterns, so on and so forth. Shader quality, I have low, not too much of a difference there. Same with tessellation. Level of detail, distance, range, I have on long, just for those long range maps that you can see a little bit more clearly what's going on. Nearby level and distant level of detail, both on high for the same reason. Clutter draw distance, we have on short. Volumetric quality level, we have on low. Down into shadow and lighting, we have screen space shadows as off, shadow map resolution as very low, sun shadow cascades high, cache sun shadows, cache spot shadows on. Gosh, that was hard to say. We have the spot cache size as low, shadow quality as low, particle lighting low, ambient occlusion we have off. That seems to be just adding a bunch of unnecessary shadows to the game that we don't necessarily need. Screen space resolution we have off. This is another important one to change to really improve how your game looks. You want to turn this on and you want to have the strength up to 100 or somewhere between 80 to 100. Kind of mess with that there. This makes the game look a lot better. You'll thank yourself later. Anti-aliasing we have on T2X with low and 0 for the filmic strength and anti-aliasing quality. If you guys have watched KOD's video, he goes a little more in depth as to why he chooses this one over the lower one. A lot of that stuff goes right over my head, so we're sticking with 2x. We're trusting in KOD. Depth of field, we definitely want to have off, as you can see on the far right. You don't want to zoom in and have the other things appear blurry. That's the reason why that's off. VRAM usage target I have on 85. Now getting into the gameplay, if you want color customization, you can do so here. I just have everything on default, but if you have some sort of color blindness or want to change stuff up, this is where you would go to do so. Field of view I have on 100. Anywhere between 95-ish and 110-ish is the way to go. Once you get past 110, you're going to start to lose aim assist, or at least that's what we believe. That's what we saw back in Modern Warfare. So have this as anywhere from that upper range without getting too high. I like 100. 100 does well for me. I've seen pros. I think Shotzi rocks 103. Envoy rocks 105. So it's not unheard of to bump this higher if you want to see more. However, 100 is worth it for me. ADS field of view. I've heard before that ARs want to play as independent and SMGs want to play as affected. For the most part, I see a lot of affected, and I think you guys should do the same. If you find yourself as more of the AR dominant role, try out independent and see what you think. But from my own experience, I prefer affected more. Camera movement, turn this all the way down. This is at 50. World motion blur and weapon motion blur, turn those off. We don't want any blurring. We want to see everything as is. Moving into audio, this will change depending on what kind of headset you have, but for me, I turn mine up a little bit over halfway on my Astro mix amp. The game is still super loud, so I have the master volume up to 85. Music volume, turn this all the way off. You don't need music getting in the way of your clutch. Dialogue volume at 85, sound effects volume at 50, with the hit marker volume at 75. I use the Vanguard hit marker sound effects. I tried Classic, didn't notice too much of a difference, but that's not going to hurt anything if you decide to go that way. Headphones for the audio mix, so on and so forth, with the game sound device being my default device. Make sure that you have whatever microphone you want to use for game chat placed here, as well as your push to talk, so that when you want to talk trash in ranked play, you can do just that. And make sure that you have the microphone that you want to be doing just that. Here's where you can add an effect to the voice chats if you want, but I don't really see too much of a point with that one. Moving on to the interface. I have all my subtitles off. Some people play with them on. I used to play with them on, but I prefer having less stuff on the screen to look at. So I have that off. Text chat, of course, I have on because you need to talk trash. I have my FPS counter off. I mean, I can run it if I felt like it, but I take my screenshots directly from the game, so I turn all this off just to have nothing in the way of the screen. So everything is hidden on my end. Down here to the elements, I have everything on. I believe you want to make sure you change your minimap to have square instead of round, as well as rotation on. My bounds are on 100. I am super excited about this one because I think this is a new setting, so I'm going to turn this off because I'm tired of having that compass up at the top. I never look at it. It never helps me whatsoever. So that's going off. The direction doesn't matter anymore. Everything else is on. Dude, I'm way too excited. I'm way too excited about not having that compass. I've had to blur that out of so many thumbnails, so to not have to do that anymore, I'm amped. The rest of this stuff is on. Now to the really important stuff. I know I've said everything important. There's a lot of important things about this settings video. For y'all controller players, okay? Don't copy my settings exactly, but kind of take a mental note of why I choose the things that I choose. I'll have a video coming out at a later date of how to choose your sensitivity, how to improve your aim. And if you guys want to see that video even sooner, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below. I do enjoy making videos like that. I rock a 7.7 for the vertical and horizontal. It's not uncommon for pros to drop this a lot lower to 6.5, maybe for some of the AR players even lower, but I prefer the 7.7. I played that way for a while. I have 1.0 for these multipliers. I do have a custom sensitivity per zoom. I've been rocking this way for a while. The low zoom I have on 0.95. So when you're looking down iron sights or anything like that, I have this just a little bit lower to kind of give me a slight bit more accuracy when making those adjustments while ADSing. If you're having trouble turning it down, I think if you're on console, you have to plug in a controller, or sorry, you have to plug in a mouse and keyboard, click on this and manually type in 0.95 and then enter. So I have 0.95 for the low zoom and the 2x zoom. Everything else I have on 1.1 because with the snipers, with the high zoom, I want to be able to have those quick, snappy, what do they call those? Drag scopes. Drag scopes. That's what I meant. I want to have those quick, snappy drag scopes with the 1.1. That's why I rock that. My button layout preset I have on default flipped. I play claw. You know, I'm one of those weird kids that has my hand here like this. If you're like me, play on default flipped. The way that you switch that is by pressing square and going down to flip L1, R1, and L2, R2. But if you're someone who plays with a Battle Beaver or something with paddles on the back, you might want to change this to tactical. Whether or not you flip it or not is based on personal preference. I kind of like just having one button to push and not necessarily a trigger that kind of gradually over time activates. Standard here for the vertical aim, the aim response curve type I have on dynamic. You guys know ever since Modern Warfare, this has changed the game in terms of aiming and in terms of aim assist. So make sure that this is on dynamic. I play with controller vibration off because I'm not a freak. That was mean. I'm sorry. If you play with it on, that's okay. I have this off. Trigger effect on, I don't know what that means, and weapon fire threshold. I don't think this applies to me because I play with L1, R1, but mess around with that if you play with L2, R2. ADS sensitivity transition I have on instant with a 1.0 sense multiplier. The stick preset I have on default. Controller orientation up, ADS off. Now, here's where we get into the fun stuff. Ooh. Left stick min input threshold. This is what I was excited about. Not as much that stuff. Left stick min input threshold. Go into a private lobby. You know what? Screw it. So go into a private match all the way over to controller, and then at the very bottom, we're going to focus initially on the right stick min input dead zone. This you want to get to as low as you possibly can without getting stick drift. So you see, if I turn mine all the way down to 0 and I'm on a brand new PS5 controller, there's a little bit of drift, I believe, going to the left. It's not very noticeable. If I move my stick a little bit, you'll see that it continues to move down and to the right, even without me pressing on the controller myself. You want to turn this as low as you can possibly go without the crosshairs moving. So if I change it to 1, there's still a little bit of movement. 2, still a slight movement there, not much, so it's getting better. And then if I change it to 3, there's none at all. So that's when you know you're at the right spot. If you're having trouble with automatic tactical sprint, this is where you will turn down the left stick max input dead zone till the point of getting the maximum amount of push, which is where that automatic tactical sprint is going to kick in. Try these out. Again, the main focus being the right stick min input dead zone. Now that that's over, we're going back into the gameplay. I have target aim assist on, ADS aim assist on, although that only affects campaign and zombies. It doesn't matter if you turn this off or on. Weapon mount activation, ADS and melee. That doesn't change much for ranked play, of course, because we can't mount our weapons in the first place. So none of this really matters that much, except automatic airborne mantle. Turn this on to partial with grounded mantle off. I'm going to sound like a freak here, but I kind of like having grounded mantle on. I don't notice myself automatically mantling on too many things, so I'm going to keep this that way. But if you find yourself messing up a ton of slide cancels, it's worth it to try to turn this off and see if that fixes the problem. But if you're trying to copy my settings exactly, I do leave that on. Here's where I stray away from the GAs. I stray away from the pro Call of Duty players. I like having my left thumb intact. I like not having to push down on something 300 times a day if I'm going to be having a long gaming session. I have automatic tactical sprint on. Don't flame me. Don't be upset. Save the thumbs, okay? I don't think it makes that much of a difference in terms of movement. I don't think that people that have bad movement are all of a sudden gods because they turn on ATS. Don't get mad at me. If you want to play like the pros, turn this off. If you want to save your thumbs, turn this on. Thank me later. Auto move forward, off. Everything else on. Slide behavior, tap. If you haven't been playing with tap since Modern Warfare, put this on tap. Aim down sight behavior I have on hold. Equipment behavior I have on hold. Same thing with everything else. Tap to reload and toggle for the scoreboard behavior. And I believe that is it for all of my settings. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you have any adjustments or things that you change for your gameplay, please let me know down below. I hope you guys enjoy league play, ranked play, and I hope these settings help you get some more frames. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy or learn something useful, be sure to leave a like, leave a sub, and I will catch you guys next time at lunchtime, baby. Peace out, everybody. See y'all on ranked play.